What ended your lifelong friendship? We met in 7th grade gym class because I forgot my lunch. That sounds like the beginning of a joke, but it's true. I was 13 years old, painfully shy, and sitting alone on a set of cold metal bleachers during lunch break, trying to pretend I wasn't hungry. My mother had been rushing to get to work that morning, and neither of us realized my lunch bag was still sitting on the kitchen counter until I was already at school. At 13, asking someone for food felt humiliating. So I sat there quietly, telling myself I could survive until dinner. That was when she walked over. Without asking permission, she sat beside me, unwrapped her peanut butter sandwich, split it perfectly in half, and handed one piece to me. "You look like somebody just kicked your puppy," she said. I laughed. She laughed. And somehow that tiny moment turned into a friendship that lasted nearly 3 decades. For 28 years, she wasn't just my best friend, she was family. She was the person I called before anyone else whenever something happened. When I got my first boyfriend, she was the first to know. When she got accepted into college, I celebrated harder than she did. When my father died unexpectedly, she slept on my couch for 3 nights because she didn't want me to be alone. When her first marriage collapsed, I sat beside her in a courthouse hallway while she cried into a paper cup of coffee. We were there for graduations, weddings, pregnancies, funerals, birthdays, promotions, and every disaster in between. There were years when we talked every day. Years when life became busy and we only spoke once a week. But no matter how much time passed, we always picked up exactly where we left off. Our children grew up together. My daughter learned to ride a bike in her driveway. Her son broke a window playing baseball in my backyard. Every Christmas included both families. Every summer included at least one shared vacation. People constantly assumed we were sisters. Eventually, we stopped correcting them. So when she called me last fall at midnight, crying so hard I could barely understand her, there was never any question about what I would do. I was already grabbing my keys before she finished explaining. Her husband had vanished, not disappeared in the mysterious movie sense. He had simply decided he was done. He drained their savings accounts, maxed out several credit cards, left nearly $60,000 in debt behind, and walked away. No goodbye. No explanation. No note, just gone. She was terrified. The mortgage was overdue. Collection agencies were calling. She had 2 children to support and nowhere to go. "Can we stay with you for a little while?" she asked. The fact that she even felt the need to ask hurt my feelings. "Of course you can," I told her. "You don't even have to ask." The next afternoon, she pulled into my driveway with 2 exhausted children, a packed SUV, and the expression of someone whose entire world had collapsed. I hugged her before she even got out of the car. For the first few months, everything seemed fine. Honestly, it felt natural. Her children already knew my children. The house felt livelier with more people in it. We settled into routine surprisingly quickly. She helped cook dinner most nights. Sometimes she folded laundry while I cleaned the kitchen. We sat at the dining room table after the kids went to bed and talked for hours about everything and nothing. Sometimes we laughed until tears rolled down our faces. Other nights she cried about her husband, and I listened. I truly believed she was healing. Eventually, she found a part-time job at a local cafe. The paycheck wasn't much, but it was a start. I remember telling my husband that I thought she was finally beginning to rebuild her life. Looking back now, I wonder how much of that was real and how much was performance. The first missing $20 didn't concern me. Money disappears. People forget things. I assumed I'd spent it somewhere and forgotten. Then $40 vanished. A week later, another 20. At first, I blamed my teenagers. Not because they were bad kids, but because teenagers occasionally make stupid decisions. When I casually asked them about it, both looked genuinely confused. My son even offered to let me search his room. I immediately felt guilty for suspecting him. Then the emergency money disappeared. $500. Cash I kept hidden in a kitchen drawer for emergencies. That money had been there for years. I rarely touched it. The moment I opened the drawer and saw the envelope half empty, something felt wrong. Very wrong. I checked every possible place. Then checked again. The money was gone. That night, after everyone went to bed, I sat alone at the kitchen table staring at the empty envelope. Part of me already knew what I didn't want to know. The possibility hovered in the back of my mind like a storm cloud. I hated myself for even considering it. After 28 years, how could I suspect her? But how could I not? The next day I dug through storage boxes in the garage until I found our old nanny cam. Years earlier, we'd used it when our children were toddlers. I charged it, connected it, and placed it discreetly on top of a cabinet, even while setting it up. I felt sick. I kept hoping I'd catch one of my kids sneaking snacks at night or discover some completely innocent explanation. Instead, 6 days later, I found the truth. The timestamp read 3:17 a.m. The house was dark. The kitchen was empty. Then she walked into frame, still wearing pajamas, moving carefully, quietly, like someone who had done this before. My stomach twisted. I watched her open my purse, remove my wallet, count the bills. Take exactly half, not all of it, just half. Then she put everything back precisely where she found it. She even adjusted the wallet so it sat in the exact same position. The entire process took less than 2 minutes. When she left the room, I just sat there staring at the screen. I replayed the footage 6 times, then 8, then 10. Each viewing hurt worse than the last, not because of the money, because of the familiarity, the confidence. She wasn't acting like someone stealing for the first time. She was acting like someone following her routine. The next morning, after all the children left for school, I asked her to sit down. She immediately sensed something was wrong. I showed her the video. At first she denied it completely. That's not what it looks like. Then you edited that. Then I was borrowing it. Each explanation contradicted the previous one. Finally, she stopped pretending. But instead of apologizing, she got angry, furious. Her face hardened in a way I'd never seen before. So now you're spying on me? I stared at her. What? You put cameras in the house to watch me. You stole from me. You have so much money you didn't even notice it was gone. The entitlement in her voice stunned me. You stole from me. I repeated, you have a house, a husband, savings, stability. I have nothing. That doesn't give you the right. Real friends share. That sentence still makes my blood boil. Real friends share, as if friendship meant ownership. As if decades of support somehow entitled her to whatever she wanted. The argument escalated quickly. I told her she needed to leave, not immediately. I wasn't throwing her children onto the street, but she had until the weekend. The second she realized I wasn't backing down, she transformed. She pulled out her phone. Tears appeared instantly, almost theatrically. Please don't do this, she cried dramatically into the camera. Please don't make my children homeless. I couldn't believe what I was watching. It was like seeing a stranger wearing my best friend's face. Then things became even worse. When I noticed she was wearing my grandmother's necklace of family heirloom I'd spent days searching for, something inside me snapped. I demanded it back. The moment I reached toward it, she exploded. She started running through the house collecting items, my laptop, my daughter's iPad, silver picture frames, electronics, jewelry, anything she could grab. When I tried stopping her, she locked herself inside the bathroom for nearly 2 hours. From the other side of the door, I could hear her making phone calls, crying, lying, manipulating, telling people I was jealous of her, claiming I was emotionally abusive, insisting I'd planned everything to humiliate her publicly. By the time my brother-in-law arrived with a locksmith, the damage was already spreading. Within hours, she posted edited videos online. Clips carefully cut to remove context, messages stripped of meaning. Years-old drunk texts I'd sent during difficult periods of my life suddenly appeared in group chats. Private conversations became public ammunition. And people believed her. That was probably the most shocking part. Not everyone, but enough friends stopped calling. Enough invitations disappeared. Enough people avoided eye contact at school events. I learned something ugly during that period. People don't always choose the truth. They choose whatever story is more entertaining. A grieving single mother betrayed by a wealthy friend. That narrative sold itself, the PTA moms whispered when I walked by. Some of them smiled to my face while gossiping behind my back. Others stopped speaking to me altogether. Half my social circle vanished in less than a month. I wanted to defend myself. For a while, I tried. Then I got tired. Because eventually you realize something. People who genuinely care about you ask questions. People who don't were already looking for a reason to leave. Months passed. The house felt quieter afterward. Not peaceful, just empty, like something had died. Sometimes I'd reach for my phone to text her before remembering she wasn't part of my life anymore. Sometimes I'd see something funny and instinctively think about sending it to her. Then reality would hit all over again. 28 years doesn't disappear overnight. You don't simply erase someone who occupied that much space in your life. Then yesterday happened. I was grocery shopping after work when I spotted her. For a second, I didn't recognize her. She looked older, not physically, just worn down. Her cart contained generic brands, dented discount cans, and clearance stickers. Her children stood nearby. Their clothes were clean, but obviously too small. One pair of sneakers had duct tape holding the sole together. My chest tightened. I watched her place items on the conveyor belt. Then she began counting cash. Wrinkled bills, coins, every penny mattered. The cashier waited patiently. For one brief moment she looked up. Our eyes met. And suddenly I didn't see the woman who stole from me. I saw the 13-year-old girl sitting beside me on those bleachers. The girl who shared her sandwich. The girl who stayed awake with me after my father's funeral. The girl who once swore we'd grow old together. For a second, I thought she might say something, apologize, smile, anything. Instead, she looked away, finished paying, grabbed her bags, and left. I stood there long after she was gone, thinking about 28 years. 28 years of birthdays, road trips, secrets, promises, laughter, heartbreak, trust. Then I thought about that video. About how naturally she counted my money. How carefully she took exactly half, how comfortable she seemed. And that's what hurts most. Not the money, not the stolen necklace, not the destroyed friendships. It's realizing that the person I trusted more than almost anyone might have been capable of betraying me long before I ever discovered it. Maybe she never had the opportunity before. Maybe desperation changed her, maybe both. I'll never know. What I do know is that somewhere between that half peanut butter sandwich and that kitchen camera footage, I lost someone I thought would be in my life forever. And sometimes that's the hardest part about betrayal, not discovering who they became. Discovering that maybe they were always capable of becoming that person.